Hello, everyone. This is the first solo episode of me and Vlada. We are here. It's Sunday. It is crazy hot in Barcelona. How is it going over there in Geneva, Vlada?
It just stopped raining. Like the weather is so crazy. Yesterday I was literally on the beach, and today I'm sitting at home. So it's a perfect moment for us to record.
All right. So I have a a worse situation in this case because it's crazy hot inside. But I'm very excited for this episode. It's a new format that we are experimenting right now. So do you wanna
Yeah.
explain a little better?
So it's kind of info pills that we would like to provide you. The information regards all the latest news that are coming in Europe from European Commission, European institutions. So we want you to be updated. And luckily, thanks to us, you will get all the latest news.
Yeah. And we picked the first one for this week, which is a news part of the Chose Europe to Start and Scale strategy published on 28th of May 2025. So it's pretty new. We want to talk about it. We want to know your opinion on that. Let's get into it.
Yes, exactly. So let's dive into something that, in my opinion, could seriously change the future of European startup scene. So the European Commission just launched a 10 billion Scale Up Europe fund.
That's true. It's a very bold move to startups, not just to scale globally, but also to retain their own talent and stay in Europe long term.
So I feel like, Erika, you're already popping champagne, but I'm still holding the receipt. So let's get into the conversation.
Yes, of course. So the Scale Up Europe Fund was announced as part of the EU new startup strategy, as I said before. So the model is very simple. The EU puts €1 and the prior investors put in €4, aiming to mobilize over 50 billion for late stage startups.
Wow, that's huge amount. And yeah, right. And it targets companies that are already growing. So
Yeah.
those in that zero point 0.5 to 10 billion valuation range. So basically the ones that usually leave Europe to raise bigger rounds in the US or Asia.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it's not for the smaller startup sides, but we're getting there. It's a start. It's a beginning, guys, to improve the ecosystem. And it's not just about capital. The package also includes a fast track visa for non-European tech workers. They kind of call it blue card and harmonized rules to reduce cross-border frictions.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Like it's not only one thing that
Yeah.
they are activating, but several things at the same time. So let's just get a little bit of context here. So Europe has been always good at producing startups, but it's really terrible actually at scaling them. So we have fewer unicorns, fewer IPOs, and slower exits compared to the US.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, if the fund existed 10 years ago, for example, maybe DeepMind would still be Europe owned, or maybe, I don't know, Revolut wouldn't be flirting with moving its headquarters to the US.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe they would have still left for the speed and for the flexibility and size of the US capital, which
Yeah,
is huge,
no, that's
immense.
true.
So, okay, let's get into the real heart of this conversation. Erika, your time to shine. Tell me, why do you love this fund?
So, because for once, the EU is actually acting like a startup founder, bold, strategic, long term. We need capital to scale. And this fills a massive gap between Europe and US for sure. And it multiplies public money with private leverage. And it's not just about money because it includes also regulatory fixes, as we said, fast track visas, procurement access. So it's also developing the whole ecosystem and like the whole entire ecosystem itself.
Wow, you sound like you are pitching the fund.
Yes, maybe I am. But honestly, we have the tech talent, we have ideas, and now we are really finally building the infrastructure to retain those talent and keep them in Europe. It's about the ecosystem maturity.
Okay, and can you maybe give us an example?
Yeah. I can, and I will. So let's say, for example, if you think about an artificial intelligence startups in Paris that just raised a strong Series B. With this fund, they can actually go for Series C without needing to pitch to VCs in San Francisco or any other city, in US. So that means that
Yeah.
more they're gonna increase, they're gonna generate more local jobs, maybe more IP staying in Europe, and maybe more IPOs here instead of Nasdaq. Okay, so now it's your turn to burst the bubble.
Okay, I'm really not against it. Here is my issue. Like, it seems really great on paper, but it's risky in execution.
Sorry,
So
I just hit the microphone. Go go.
So, first of all, bureaucracy. Bureaucracy.
Uh huh.
Let's not forget how slow some EU grant programs are.
Yeah.
If it takes 9 months to access this fund, the funders will still go to the US. Then we have the dilution, right? So public money often comes with so tricky terms, like, and funders could lose their control or even be forced into exits that they didn't plan. And third thing, in my opinion, is regional favoritism. So, will this help a startup in Lisbon or
Yeah.
Krakow as
Mhm.
much as the one in Paris or Berlin?
Yeah. No, I think all of three are great points, to be honest. I will say the bureaucracy is the one that worries me the most because, yes, again, the startups run in the very fast pace. So if it takes 9 months to receive the money, then they might die in the meantime. It's too much. But wouldn't the transparency and the structure of the EU backed fund solve that? Some of those, at least.
So, I think only if funders demand it. So, public doesn't always mean fair or founder friendly. That's why I would push startups to negotiate hard, even when the EU is involved. And sometimes it can be scary to go against the EU and ask for something more.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, so now let's do a quick game. You are a founder in Lisbon, and you just raised the Series B, for example. What do you do next?
So let me think. I would check which VC funds are participating in the Scale Up Europe platform. Then I would negotiate terms with both the fund and the lead investor,
Uh-huh.
and I would bring in a lawyer.
Makes sense. It better be, you know,
Prepared.
uh,
Yes,
prepared and especially legally covered. Yeah, makes sense.
exactly. So, okay, now Erika, it's your turn. So you are a founder in Bucharest and you're building a deep tech and you're worried over about being overlooked.
All right.
What are your
I don't
moves?
know. Yeah, I think I will go regional first. So maybe find a cross-border partner or for example, a German co-founder or investor, and then I
Okay.
will use that visibility of the fund itself to apply pressure to the Europe program.
Okay, so founders don't just apply, ask questions, negotiate terms, push for a seat at the table.
Yeah, and let's project into the future now. So in 5 years, what does success look like for you?
Wow, 5 years, long, long, long time. So I would say more European IPOs, less capital flight, um, and startups staying headquartered in Barcelona, Milan, or Prague, not Delaware, not moving, for the scale up part somewhere abroad.
Yeah, which would be amazing. given that I'm in Barcelona, so I would love to see the transformation of the ecosystem, myself. And maybe 100 billion version of this fund someday. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm definitely in, like 100%. If it's efficient and transparent and founder first.
Nice. So, what is your like final verdict?
Let's say I am cautiously optimistic. So it's a great move, but founders need to play smart.
All right, cool. I'm fully optimistic instead,
I
and
had no doubts.
it's the most exciting thing that happened in Europe to Europe startups in years, I think.
Yeah,
So
true.
that's
And
fun.
what about you, founders? Would you apply for this fund?
Yeah, send us a voice message, DM us on Momentum Podcast on Instagram, and tell us how would you use those 10 billion boost, this 10 billion boost.
And yeah, let us know what are your thoughts. Thanks for listening. And see you next
See you
Sunday
next
for a
Sunday.
new episode.